Yo, what's going on, boys? So as the end of the season comes closer and closer, I know a lot of players are panicking about how they can reach their ranked goal for this season. So I thought, what better way to kick it off and try and analyze the #1 climber, my man Dopa. I've probably watched more gameplay of Dopa than anybody else, and I've even got the chance to verse him. So today, gonna go through the top 10 tips that Dopa has for climbing and that he utilizes for his rank 1 climbs. The #1 tip is have a very precise champion pool. Have a small selected amount of champions you play and have mastered, and these are the champions you'll be using for the climb. You don't branch out. You see Dopa almost exclusively playing Twisted Fate and Orianna at the moment. If he doesn't get these two champions, he either dodges or he has a niche counter pick such as Fizz ready to counter their champions if they pick away something like the Twisted Fate. You guys should be looking to do the exact same. Have 1 to 2 champions, possibly with different playstyles. Twisted Fate and Orianna are very different. Orianna is a very team-centric, team-fighting champion. Twisted Fate is a side lane champion and a roamer, okay? They're very different, so try and have contrasting playstyles with your 2 champions and try and pick around your team comp to see what's happening. For example, in your draft, if you have something like the Malphite and the Jarvan, obviously the Orianna is your go-to. If you have champions that have really good follow-up, something like a Talia or a Blitzcrank or a Nautilus, Twisted Fate to get that point-and-click gold card to get your team to follow up. Another advantage of having a very limited and small champion pool is being able to ban a specific champion that's going to counter your strategy. Dopa bans Qiyana every game. Obviously, Twisted Fate and Orianna both struggle into this champion. They have no dash to escape Qiyana's all-in. You're going to get pinned against the walls. Try and look for champions or strategies that's going to counter your setup and ban them away in champion select. The next tip is to have an active level 1, okay? A lot of people think you can only invade or maybe counter invade stack as a level 1. But also most people just sit under tower or sit in the fountain until like a minute. That is disgusting. Dopa every game will be making sure the enemy doesn't get a red side invade and prevent the red buff, okay? So he sits at the Wraith camp. It's a very nice area. It's hard to get flanked by people coming out of the brushes here. And he can see if the enemy goes in to place a ward or even just looks for a straight up red steal at level 1. This is going to be very consistent. It's going to help his team out, get information, make his jungler have a better start. There's too many games where the enemy just stacking on the red buff, gets that invade. The mid lane is sitting under tower getting no information, and you guys can lose the game off that. Over 100 games, you're going to save at least 5-10 games from this type of strategy. So that's definitely a big tip you guys can be using in your gameplay. The next tip everybody should know is dodging. Dopa dodges so often when he's doing these off-roll rank 1 climbs. There was one time he went -50 in Masters. So he was negative 50 points in Masters below 0 because he was continuously dodging bad teammates, bad comps, toxic players, things like this. You need to be looking out for them in Champion Select. The first dodge of the day, -3 LP and a 6-minute wait timer. The next, all subsequent dodges for the next 24 hours will be -10 LP and a 30-minute wait timer. The thing is, you're losing LP and not MMR, so it really doesn't matter. Your LP you really shouldn't be fussed with. It's your hidden MMR that's going to determine how much LP you get, what rank your teammates are going to be matched with, and it's the most important thing when climbing. So look to dodge games where it's very high percentage chance you're going to lose or going to have a very bad experience. The next tip I can give is have a set strategy for your wave management and your early laning phase. Dopa every game has a set plan. Before the lane even starts to crash, he knows what to do. For example, he's playing Twisted Fate into something like an Echo that's going to try and hard shove the wave, or let's say a Zoe. He will insta-red card the wave and try and shove it to make sure he doesn't get hard shoved in and the enemy will cut across and get some vision in his jungler. Let's say he's into something like an Akali or an LeBlanc or a Yasuo or a Fizz. He will let the wave go very slowly. He'll last hit the minions with the red card to start, and he's going to let that wave slowly push into him, making sure he doesn't overextend and put himself in kill threat with a longer lane. You need to have strategies into all of these matchups, and this is why Dopa is so consistent. He knows how to play every single lane. He knows how to manage the waves efficiently and effectively to get really good win rates into matchups he possibly shouldn't have. My next tip is to use your vision early, guys. Too many people I see die to ganks where they could have simply put your ward down. Have a strategy for how you're going to provide vision for the team, okay? So let's go off of the last tip with Dopa's wave management. Let's say he had a hard shove lane. He gets the wave under tower, the enemy's tower. He puts a ward over onto the Wraith camp. It's going to help you provide vision for your jungler. You're going to be able to know where the enemy jungler either started or is clearing towards. Or let's say you're into a Fizz matchup and you froze the wave. As the third wave's coming, the cannon wave, hop across and just try and put a yellow trinket either in the mid lane brush or slightly into the river. Just a little bit of vision like that is going to provide so much information for not only you to evade ganks, but also your jungler and your team to where the enemy jungler is situated. The next tip, guys, is to use your flash conservatively. Dopa will almost never use this flash willy-nilly aggressively to try and secure kills, or let's say to try and evade a gank that's very high percentage, he'll die anyway, okay? Hold your flash. If you don't need to use the flash, don't use it. If you're securing a kill that's not going to net you an objective or a shutdown or something on the map, don't flash. Hold it for the next big objective or team fight, because that team fight is going to change the game, whether it's going to be a Baron, maybe it's going to be on a tower siege, or you need to go into a side lane to try and pick up waves. The flash is super important. So just giving away the flash, the most important summoner spell, strongest summoner spell in the game, is stupid, okay? Unless you're flashing to secure a kill that's going to allow you guys to maybe get like Baron Nashor or get an inhib siege, hold on to your flash, use it conservatively. Let's say you're ganked by the enemy jungler, okay? And they're playing Nidalee and they haven't used their dash yet. Are you going to flash away? No. Hold your flash, because if you flash, they're going to chase you down and kill you anyway. Are you about to die in a team fight and you think a flash is going to save you, but very low percentage, 10% to save you? Just die with dignity and hold your flash. Don't blow your summoners, because for the next 5 minutes, you're going to have an even worse time on the map and probably leak even more kills. So for the next tip, guys, I'm going to bundle a couple of together, okay? So Dopa loves to go biscuit delivery. Now, let's say he has a very efficient laning phase and he doesn't use the biscuits, which happens very often. What is he going to do with the biscuits? Just use them? Maybe when he's almost full health? No, he's going to sell them for gold. And when you sell them for gold, you not only get 30 gold, but you also still get the 50 base mana increase for your champion. Don't be afraid to sell these biscuits to try and get an extra item spike or a control ward to provide vision. Very important. Next up is Dopa loves to go attack speed in the offense these days. This is going to help you get positive trades. It's going to help you get lane shoves quicker when you need it. It's going to help you get tower chunks. The attack speed at the moment, a lot of these pro players and high elo players prefer it because it's going to get you such better trades in the early laning phase, and it's going to allow you to get a harder, faster shove on if you need to get to an objective or a river skirmish. Tip number 8 is when you play champions like the Twisted Fate, as you approach level 6, you best be goddamn ready when you hit level 6 to get an ultimate onto the side lane. Dopa will always be thinking about this at level 4 and level 5. I want to enter level 6 with full mana or with an item power spike ready to jump into the side lanes. This is going to allow you over the course of 100 games to have much better ultimates and to hold the map much better. If the enemy Twisted Fate is either hard shoved or no mana at level 6, I always laugh to myself by saying this idiot hasn't set himself up correctly. He's going to miss out on a large chunk, maybe a minute or two, of potential side lane picks with the ultimate that he can't now get. This applies for almost every strong level 6 champion, okay guys? You need to be prepared because that level 6 ultimate is your go. That's when you're looking to snowball the game, take over the map. Please don't hit level 6 with really bad mana control or just completely in a bad state in the laning phase. Tip number 9 comes down to item efficiency, okay? Dopa loves to get a Dark Seal in his games. It suits his playstyle. It synergizes with his Corrupting Potion. But most importantly, he can upgrade it when he gets 10 stacks to a Mejas. Almost the most cost-efficient item in the game. It is disgustingly good. He has a very nice playstyle around it, and you'll almost see him every game try and get this Mejas when he hits 10 stacks for the movement speed and that extra ability power. Next up is he loves to sit on a Stopwatch. I see a lot of players, they get their Stopwatch, and then let's say they have a massive fight, next team fight, and then they come back into the base, the Stopwatch is still available, and then they upgrade to Hourglass. You're trolling, you're wasting 600 gold active. Buy your next item and sit on the Stopwatch. Sometimes Dopa won't use the Stopwatch for the entire game. He'll literally just sit on it, skip it, go straight into the death cap next. Don't just think you need to upgrade straight into the Hourglass and waste that gold on that active. Please be aware of things like this. Another tip Dopa uses for items, he very rarely goes elixirs. Which is strange because I know a lot of players love elixirs, but Dopa in his head, he wants the game to go late. He wants those item power spikes. Too many times you go, let's say the team fight doesn't work. Let's say you buy another elixir. Next team fight, let's say the game goes 50 minutes, you bought 4 elixirs. You put 2k gold into elixirs that hasn't done anything. You could add a void staff. You could have a death cap upgrade. Dopa very rarely goes elixirs. He doesn't never go them. Obviously, there's a lot of times where the elixir is good. He just doesn't buy them as often as a lot of other players. Tip number 10, and I don't think this is going to be my last tip. I have too many tips to give away, is when you port or roam into a side lane, the lane swap. Too many players, even in high elo, struggle with this concept. If I ultimate bot lane, I get you guys a kill, but I need to shove in a wave or you die. I will stay in your bot lane and I will shove the waves. When you come out of base, if you've died or had to base, don't run bot lane with me where I've just shoved the wave. Go to the mid lane where the wave's about to crash because the enemy mid lane is maybe shoving it or there's waves to collect. Don't go down the same lane as something that gets shoved. Go and swap and head the mid lane. Shove that wave and then I'll back and we'll swap back. But there's so much gold and XP to be gained here. A wave or two of XP can change the game, guys. Don't get me wrong. You need to be on the lookout for these things. Even high elo players struggle with this concept. Very important macro strategy that Dopa always does. He gets very frustrated with his teams when they don't understand it and start pinging him to hurry up and swap back or whatnot. You need to be looking for these efficiencies in the game to pick up advantages. The next tip from Dopa is you don't have to be the star of the show. Too many people struggle with this. They watch a lot of streamers who go for these massive outplays. Obviously, a streamer is looking to impress an audience. They'll go for bad plays a lot of the time to try and make something really low percentage work. Most of you guys aren't streamers or no one's watching you. You need to be very consistent and not go for these big plays. If the play is there, Dopa will make it, but he's not going to risk an entire game off of some stupid 1v1 or 1v2 outplay. He'll take the back, he'll take the port, look to regroup with his team, look to play consistently. Dopa never tries to be the massive star outplay mechanical genius. He plays the game strategically well. He said this a lot of the times, guys. He plays cautiously in his games because he knows in the mid-late game he's strategically better than the enemy. Not mechanically better, strategically better. So the longer the game goes, the better chance he has of winning the game. He's said this for a long time now. The longer the game goes, historically, the better win rate Dopa has. So he plays very cautiously early. He doesn't go for these massive outplays. He wants the game to go late, wants to be very smart, very controlled. And this is how he gets his consistency in soloQ. And consistency is key to climb. People just want to go 100-0 one game, then 0-100 next game. It's not going to get you anywhere. You're going to have a 50% win rate. You want to be consistently better than your opponent, climb with above 50% win rate, and you'll get there in the long run. It's all about the long run, the big picture. It's never about the small picture, the small outplays. The final tip from Dopa is don't feel the need to continuously ARAM the game. Too many lower elo players, and when I say lower elo, I mean even in Challenger people do this. They just feel the need to 5-man mid, share a bunch of experience in CS. When you watch Dopa, he loves the side lane. The side lane from 15 to 20 minutes is his. Why does he love the side lane? Solo experience, solo gold, solo farm. You're sitting on a pressure point in the side lane, gathering resources. If you're mid lane, and you're just 5-man fighting over and over and over again, it's going to be complete 50-50 coin flip. If you're playing safe and controlled in the side lane, you don't have to be playing a Twisted Fate, but let's say you are. You have that Lich Bane proc, you're bashing down towers, you have the chance to ultimate across to rejoin your team if something goes wrong. But let's say the enemy team groups is 5. Your team has 4. Hopefully you have a good wave clear ability like something like a Philios or a Caitlyn who can hold that tower. But even if not, they will try. The point is, you need to be hammering down in the side lane, getting pressure on the tower, okay? And getting the experience. If nothing happens mid, massive advantage. If they get a couple of kills and maybe one tower, still a big advantage. You're getting solo experience in the side lane and getting a tower. The next team fight, you're going to be very far ahead of the enemy mid lane, and you're going to turn that team fight. Worst case scenario, the enemy gets a full ace, runs down mid. Look, you're still getting experience and gold. But if you're like slowly hovering towards river and trying to regroup with your team, sharing all this experience, then you're coming back, then you're going back, and then your team gets aced anyway, you lose the game, you're down 4 levels. Like it's such a bad situation to be in. You have no carry potential, and you're just going to get whitewashed. Like you can't have any chance to actually build advantages and resource gaps if you're doing this continuous ARAM advantage. Maybe you are playing a Malzahar. Maybe you're playing like a Malphite mid or something. Maybe the ARAM is better in that type of scenario, but a lot of the time, guys, you guys aren't side laning enough and you're just falling into this ARAM trap. So you need to be watching VODs and high elo reviews of how these players drop into the side lanes, and you gotta learn you gotta learn when you need to regroup, because the regrouping does happen, but a lot of the time you're missing out on so much advantage in this side lane, boys. So that's it for my DOPA'S top tip, guys. I hope you've learned something. I hope it helps with the climb, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.